Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.TV. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Welcome to Tell Us Your Biz. Today, we have some great guests here that I think all of our listeners are going to enjoy a lot. My name is Chris Nolan. I'm your guest host this afternoon. And joining us today, we have Toni Gorin. She's our CEO and owner for the Pure Wave Systems. And her husband, who is a brilliant scientist, whose name we have is James Gorin. And James is a biomedical engineer, and he's going to join us today and help us out a little bit so we can understand more about the Pure Wave systems and why they work and how they work. And so we want to talk a little bit about that today, and I'm excited to be here because I'm actually a little bit involved with them as a business developer, and I got into this because it was a very, very successful program for me. I'll tell you a little bit more about that just later in the show. But right now, what I'd like to do is start out, and James, if you might, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what is Pure Wave?
Okay, so back in 1980, I was working as a biomedical engineer for a pacemaker company, and I was in charge of the first implantable external neural stimulator, like a pacemaker with the implant up in the base of the brain. We could stop pain just by flipping the switch. And I got involved with Pure Wave when I needed it for myself, and that was just 3 years ago. I was quite ill, debilitated. I was on an electric scooter, and this thing changed my world. It helped a lot.
That's great. Well, let's come back to that in a minute. That's great. And I want to hear some detail about that because I know for a fact James was using a wheelchair and a walker, and he was in terrible shape a few years ago, and now he looks 25 years younger than he really is. He's really gotten himself in great condition. We thank that's fantastic, James. It's really good. I want to hear a little bit from Toni and introduce you to Toni Gorin. She is as I said, the CEO and the owner for the Pure Wave and what she does is she administers with this what's called Pure Wave therapies. And what I'd like to know, Tony, is why? Why does this work?
Why does it work? Well, you could call the therapy, the body system, somewhat like a battery charger for your body. So what it's doing is it is emanating a magnetic field around the body about 3 feet, almost like an MRI would. It's a pulsed magnetic field as well. What the reason for that is the Earth, where we're supposed to get that natural charge to our bodies, which charges our cells. We don't put ourselves out there anymore. We are supposed to, like the hippies would say, go get grounded, hug a tree. We don't do that.
Little earthing, right?
We're in concrete
right.
all day long. We're in a building right now. We're in buildings usually all day long, wearing shoes and cars. We are never out in that, in the grass, in that, getting that natural feed. So what this is doing is emanating that same magnetic field that you would get if you were out there in the grass. So, and that's what feeds or energizes your cells. Or supercharges your cells, as we say, and energizes the body. So you have to look at your cells in your body as if they are little batteries. We have 70 trillion of them. When we're young, they're 100%. And as we get older, and they always say you're over the hill at 40, that's literally when your cells are about 60% discharged. So, and other environmental issues that also affect that and bring it down. So what they call cell voltage is literally low, aging and disease. So as we're getting older and there are other environmental issues like toxins and things we put in our body, we eat and so forth, are also what brings that cell voltage down. So when you, there's other factors like EMFs,
Right.
dirty electricity, which we call electrosmog, or other things when it come in contact with the cells also help to dysregulate them, as we say. So what you're doing in just an 8-minute session is you're regulating that cell voltage, which the patent on this technology has a worldwide patent on ion transport, which is a cellular, kind of like a
wait a
cellular
minute. I
massage.
got to ask you a question. So are you telling me that when I'm younger, my cell voltage is higher, and when I'm older, my
Yes.
cell voltage drops?
Exactly.
And
so,
that cell voltage, are you referring to mitochondria in the cell?
yeah, well, that's what affects when you regulate the cell voltage, the ions within, and protons and electrons, they call it.
Sure.
So
Wow.
it's kind of, it's just the regulation of the cell. It's almost, I don't want to get into too much cell biology.
So if
and
I'm
going
raising,
through it
if
all.
I'm raising
to keep
that,
it simple, it's more just it's charging up your body, the cells in your body.
okay. So if I'm raising that up, do I feel like I'm more energetic?
Yes.
What other benefit? What benefits do you get from this? So I feel better. I'm more energetic. What else happens
So
to me?
imagine everything in your body is cellular, right? Your tissues, your organs, everything. So we're not saying that we're healing diseases or anything, but you
Right.
look at the underlying mechanism of the therapy is increasing. It's what that pulsed magnetic field does is it regulates the vascular. So it increases, if needed, it increases that, increasing blood viscosity or blood volume or circulation, which increases more oxygen into the
Wait.
tissues.
Does that mean it helps my hands get warmer and my feet get warmer?
Yes,
Oh, like
Yes.
it's a vasodilation system.
correct.
Oh, good.
So it
Okay.
reaches places that you normally are having issues with, like the fingertips or the capillaries. So within an 8-minute session, you can see increase in thermographies into the fingertips and throughout the body, showing increased circulation.
So that falls off as we get older. What age do we start noticing things like that, where we get into situations where our circulation isn't what it used to be?
There's 40, over the hill at 40.
Oh, so I'm over the hill. Yeah. Actually, I know this because I use this myself, and I know what's happened to me, and it actually is amazing. I'm nearly 70, and I'm acting like a 40-year-old
Yeah,
because
exactly, you
this
do.
mat does that to you. What
Yeah.
can I
Yes.
tell you?
We call it youthing instead of
Youthing.
aging.
That's
so
it.
we're
That's a
literally-
good one.
Where
So
you think?
Instead of the voltage going down, we can now reverse that up, because that's exactly what this is a battery charger pretty much for your body.
Hey, would this work on my dog?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Really?
animals love it. Actually, when their owners are laying on it, the animals tend to come up and lay next to them, and you'll see the same benefits you do in a person as you do in the animals.
I know my sister said she had gotten one of these and used it on her cat, and it was 14 years old, and it was an old cat walking around. That's not really that old for a cat. But she said when she starts it up, she says, and lays on it, the cat always comes over and jumps in her lap and lays on her lap and loves this thing. So
Yes.
that could be expected then.
Right.
Yes, I've heard that too. Yeah.
That's good.
They're
that's pretty
aware.
cool.
The animals, they feel it, and they actually get more out of a session quicker than humans.
Really?
So it's really noticeable.
Would it work on a big animal?
Yeah, horses. We've done horses.
Oh,
We got
okay.
to play with them. Yeah, and they loved it.
Did they?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Hey, James, tell me a little bit about this. You talk about this stuff we get from cell phones and computers and all kinds of things, EMFs. What does
Yes.
that stand for? Could you tell our listeners a little bit about what that stands for and what that means? What is that?
Yeah, it stands for EMF, electromagnetic fields, but these are interrupting fields. It's static. It's like when you rub your balloon on your belly and your hair stands up. Well, your entire body and all the cells are charged up, and it disrupts the communication going to the brain.
My hair stands up anyway. Okay, go ahead.
So when my neural stimulator worked with EMF, we created that on purpose to block the signals to the brain so you wouldn't get pain signals. You could just flip a switch and pain gone. And that was from Cordis Corporation.
Does that cause us any kind of are there any contraindications, any dangers in any of this?
Yeah.
Or is it a pretty safe therapy?
On EMF, it's quite dangerous. You're not only shutting off the communication from the cells and tissues to the brain, but then from the brain back to those tissues, back to those cells that are covered with a static. The cells don't see or respond or notice the communication coming back. It's disrupting. So now we have it from cell phones, technology, Wi-Fi towers. It's everything. It's even fluorescent lights. We were bathed in that growing up in my age through our schools and businesses, and this has really hurt people. And I feel personally, as my own opinion, that's a lot of the cause of our health issues today, and it's the ones who had the most. But now our kids, oh my God, they sleep with that phone right next to them. They're on it day and night. It actually shows with a meter. You can measure it. We just use a simple meter from Amazon, $140, tri-field meter. It shows EMF all over the body. If you put the phone next to your arm, you radiate the radiation into the arm, and that needle goes sky high. But when I measure children, and I run around measuring, I test everything.
Sure.
Children are on 0. They're immune to it till about 9 or 10 years old. And then they start to absorb. Their energy is dropped. That's when EMF sticks. And it seems to be an actual number. It's 70 millivolts. Our cells in children are running 90 to 100 millivolts. When they start to grow older, it drops. When you go below 70 millivolts, that EMF from phones and lights sticks to you all day and all night. And that ruins your communication in and out of your cells.
You know, it was kind of interesting because Tony did something for me a few months ago when I was getting into this and understanding this more and more from you guys. And if anybody wants to really learn a lot about how this all works, Tony, they got to come over to your Pure Wave Energy Centers because it's an amazing place over here in Boynton Beach. But she was kind enough to take blood out of my finger, drop it on a slide, and then show me that my red blood cells were all stacked up. That's called rouleaude. And I said, why are they all stacked up like that? And, of course, James explained to me that's because you use all these cell phones, and we've got them in our hands all the time. And what it does is, he said, creates static. They stick together. They don't get oxygen like they're supposed to, hydrogen, and they need that for good function. And so in order to optimize your cell functionality, this becomes a pretty important tool, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yes, yes. This machine that Tony has, within 5 minutes, it clears all the EMF off of a body while it's energizing the cells and the tissues, and you can do the whole body all at once.
How long does that last, James?
Oh, 15.
Is that going to last me all day? Is it going to last me a week? How long's a session going to last me?
All right, a 15-minute session, the effects will last 12 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're charged up and energized up to 12 hours. It starts to bleed off, but it doesn't bleed off all the way down so much. It's cumulative. Every time you run a session, you're a little better and a little better. The energy stays longer and higher each time you run a session. After about a month or two, wow.
Right.
You're up there.
So, Tony, when
Depends.
you open your new center, I want to know something. You're opening this up in March?
Yes.
Is that
Probably
right?
by the middle of March.
About the middle of March? Okay.
Middle or
So
end of
anybody
March.
can come there?
Yes.
Can they find out about it? Can they go to your website? I know you have a website.
Our website is
PureWave
purewavenow.com.
PureWaveNow.com.
Correct.
Okay, that's great. Is that operating now? Could people go to PureWaveNow.com?
No, but they can call our office or look at our website and call us and make an appointment, and we can see them on our importing office side.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you guys are are you the importers then?
Yeah.
For where?
I am
She
the
is.
distribution importer.
Tony is,
for the
okay.
product that comes from Germany. So for North America and distribution supplier. So normally we work through physicians, conferences, doctors, investors, and also retail for the local area.
Now, I understand this has a lot of clinical research behind a lot of the things that they've worked on with this, relating to all of this. Is that something that anybody can find? Is that something? It's been around. Tell us about the history.
It's all on our website, but
Is it?
the technology is almost goes back almost 40 years for research and development. Was invented 30 years ago. Is one of the first and original PEMF devices for full body therapy. And that's 3 worldwide patents, which are on ion transport and the resonance phenomenon. That's the ability to resonate the cell at the right frequency that allows for the ion transport, the regulation of ions that we talked about earlier. You can see all this information on our website. There's a section for research. We have a section for education, which talks about cellular health. And also a little bit of EMF. We're going to be adding to that more and more because that's a major subject.
Right.
We also are going to be at the New Life Expo this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It runs from 10 till 7. We'll be exhibiting there, so you can stop by and actually try it.
Now, tell me again, where is that located?
That's going to be at the Doubletree Hilton in Boca Raton.
Okay, and that starts at what time?
The New Life Expo is from 10 to 7 on both days, Saturday and Sunday, I believe. But you
And
can
that's
check that
this Saturday
online.
and Sunday.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's
So
great.
tomorrow.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that'll be exciting. So everybody ought to go over there and check this out and let you know. Are you going to let
See
people
for
try
yourself.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
gonna be doing
We're going to have
sessions.
sessions
Is
for
it free?
$20. No, we'll be running $20 sessions,
Okay.
which we'll be doing several things, target therapies plus the full body.
Yeah.
So they'll enjoy it. You'll see how it works.
it? Okay, well, that'll be a lot of fun. So when you do this, one of the things that I'm seeing in the market, I am hearing and seeing more and more of this. What took it so long to get here? Because you start seeing other companies, and I know that there are some differences between those companies. Tell us a little bit about why did it take so long to get here, and then what do these other companies have or compared to you, if I can?
Well, I can tell you I can't tell you why, because the Germans are very, or this company, very heavy into research and developing and scientists. They're not marketeers.
Okay.
So that could be one main reason.
Because they've had it how long have they had it?
30 years.
30
so
years.
As far as competition and them being one of the originals, most all of the others are copycats. But they're more like vasal squeezers, or I'd call muscle stimulators versus a cellular stimulator. And that's the major difference. One of the major differences. One of the other ones
In
are
fact, this
that,
is patented for that, isn't it?
yes, that is
Right.
one of the patents. So also they have the major issue with or any device that's electronic is they have dirty electricity, that electrosmog. So electrosmog is what we're talking about, those EMFs. So as soon as you plug it in, they're like an antenna. So in order for a therapy to be effective, that you're trying to mitigate the effects of, it has to be free and clear itself. But most of these devices have huge amounts of EMFs themselves. So it's like you're taking a bath in the EMFs, which are not going to help you. It's contradictory to what you're trying to do. Ours, one of the patents is the protection of interfering fields, which means EMFs, electrosmog. Therefore, it has virtually none in it at all. So that way you can get that's why we call it a pure wave therapy, because it's a clean, pure wave.
Wow. Clean, pure wave. What's interesting, I'm thinking about this as you're describing it. When I go to the gym, which isn't as often as I'd like to go, as you can tell, I've been working on this body a long time. My question to you is, when people use apparatuses like the
treadmill?
stationary what do you call them? That they walk on?
Elliptical?
The ellipticals or
Treadmills,
treadmills.
things like that.
Does that have any negative effect on us?
Actually, that's dirty electricity too, and there's studies on that showing that people that go to the gym and that are using these things, they're actually, you're feeding the body with EMFs.
It's huge.
Which you'd be much better if you went out and took a walk out, down the road
I am
somewhere.
really glad you said that, because now I have
Yeah.
a reason to go over and look at the pretty girls and tell them
Go
what
to
I
the
know.
beach. Take a walk on
take
the
them to the beach. Go to the beach and take a walk.
Where
on
you
the
get all
beach.
those
Yeah.
negative ions
Take a
from
walk
the
on the
ocean,
wild side.
right?
Yeah, and the amount of EMF is absolutely huge.
Right.
It really, really hurts people. It does.
And is it coming out of the lights in the ceiling? Is it?
It comes out of fluorescent lights, not LEDs, but the old fluorescents and halogens. They're
Sure.
terrible. Even your power sockets, wherever wires are parallel, it emits a lot of radiation. But the
how
phones,
about our Wi-Fi's at home and our Bluetooths? Tell us a little bit about that. Is that a problem?
absolutely, and everybody's becoming very aware of it. It's on the internet.
I have
We
a
all
very
know.
good image on our website under EMF.
Okay.
EMFs. I think it's called EMF radiation. And look under that tab under education. And I have a map showing 20 years ago what the United States looked like with Wi-Fi towers and cell phones and just the whole network. And then look at it now, today, and you'll be amazed.
Okay, that'd make me
So,
want to move to Wyoming, right?
no, at this point, it's not going to help you there
Oh.
either. But being where we are here, it's even worse. So
Right. Okay, all right.
Now, these machines, they actually bring down the EMF on your body. They raise the energy up over 70 millivolts, and that seems to be the threshold. That makes us resilient, just like children. That's my personal opinion. And from what I've seen with my, background in measuring things, when you energize your cells, either by professional workouts, these professional sports guys, they're almost like children on the inside. They're that good. Their cellular energy is so high that the EMF is resilient. It's not sticking to their cells. Same thing when you run this machine. After just 2-3 sessions, everybody has such high energy that they're resilient walking around. You can walk in it, and it's not sticking.
You know, the doctor said to me just this week, he said, "You're going to put us out of business." I said, "Listen, doc, this is the new medicine. You guys were hosted and a part of the Dr. Oz show. Your equipment, I saw it on Dr. Oz, did I not?"
yeah, about
Yeah.
7 years ago, the revolutionary cure for pain.
Right. So if you put in Dr. Oz QRS, you can see that, I believe, correct?
We have it on our website. You
Do
can
you?
view
Oh,
it there.
okay.
So just go. It's on the front
That was
page.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's-
by the way, just for our listeners, just want you to know, we have a call-in line, and you're welcome to call in with questions. Let me give you that number. It's 888-565-1470. Again, 888-565-1470. Feel free to call in, ask us questions. We'd like to answer them for you and help you understand how and why this amazing science works. And I will tell you, I experienced some things myself. I had a sciatic nerve issue. I thought my knee was going bad, and I was gimping around like an old guy, and I didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
And then, of course, I laid on the mat, and this is how I actually discovered this thing. And I laid on it once or twice, I think, for like 15 minutes. And lo and behold, it was gone, and it's never come back. And that was over a year ago. So that was pretty amazing for me. And I imagine you see that all the time.
Yeah,
almost,
she does.
almost on everyone. That's why sampling it tomorrow and Sunday, if you want to see, you'll see for yourself. If you've got any issues, that's usually, you'll see. That's all I can say. Come by and check it out. We also are sponsors for the pro athletic teams for pro baseball and hockey, chiropractors. So we have several pro teams actually using the devices as well.
Listen, we got to tell everybody about the Cliff Floyd story. This is a great story. This is a true story. We were in our office, and Cliff Floyd came over. A lot of you may recognize his name. He's a famous baseball player who's done incredible things in baseball, Major League Baseball. And he had some issues. He couldn't do squats, and his knees were hurting him. So I invited him over to the office, and we got James and Tony, and we took Cliff, and we said, "Cliff, we're going to put a mat on your knees. We're going to lay you on a mat underneath you, and we're going to run this for about 8 to 10 minutes. And we did. And he got up, and I said, okay, now try doing a couple of squats. And he said, what? I said, do a couple of squats. So we had him do some squats. He did a couple, and they weren't real deep. And I said, oh, come on, you really can do a deeper squat than that, can't you? I mean, come on, man, you're a young, strong guy. So I said, do 20 of them. And he says, oh, I don't know. And I said, no, try it. So he does these 20 squats, and I was as shocked as you were. Because what we saw was this big, giant athlete, and he's happy, and he's going, oh my gosh, I feel no pain in my knees. He sent me an email, literally, 2 weeks later, and he said, my knees are still without any pain whatsoever. That is a great device, which is why I think Charles Johnson ended up coming in, baseball catcher, all-star, Golden Glove, World Series kind of guy. Those kind of guys drop in, and they're picking these things up because the athletes understand what this does for them. And we've got some really great athletes. We've got a number of baseball teams now, and hockey teams, and football. We've got all kinds of pro athletes coming our way. So if they're getting into this and they're beginning now to learn it and understand it, and the team doctors, Tony, you've got some great stories from team doctors, right?
Right.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I always ask them, when I meet them, I say, do you have any pain? And if they don't, it's like, that's what I want, so I can show you the difference. And in almost every case, and there's very little that I don't ever see any relief. Like, I can't even think of a couple. In every case, we get a result out of them. But we have been, the Diamondbacks use it for the major and minor leagues.
Now, that's the Ken Crenshaw story, right?
Ken Crenshaw, right. So the pitcher, which you talked to, of course, when we got his testimonial, and they were at the bottom of the league, a year and a half ago, and then all of a sudden when they started using them, they won or got to the top of the league there. So, and the pitcher talked about how he has been using this before every single game, and we have certain protocols for athletes pre and post game and so forth. So using that in a certain setting enables him to play longer, have more endurance, and stronger throughout the whole game. So of course that's what.
Well, yes, in fact, their team doctor told me, he said, these guys don't even want to quit after practice. He said, they go through practice and they still have energy. And I've now been told that by a number of pro teams, which is great to understand. If, again, you want to call in, our number is 888-565-1470. And we'd love to have you join us here on Tell Us Your Biz. So, yes, James.
With me, I had asthma. It was occupational asthma for 36 years. I was on albuterol for 6 years until it didn't work anymore. And then I went on my Advair for 30 years, twice a day. And it was in one session, the itch went away on me. And after a week, and then a month, and then it's just
36 years of asthma medication.
We're hearing a lot of that on asthma. This thing really seems to be an effective use for a lot of people.
Inflammation.
And that's great. Is that what that is? That's all inflammation, right?
Yeah, and allergic to everything. Now I'm allergic to nothing.
Okay, that is fantastic. Well, you've heard it here on Tell Us Your Biz. Tony Gorin and James Gorin. They have a beautiful new Pure Wave Energy Center. They're opening up off a Gateway at I-95 in Boynton Beach. You really got to come down and visit it and check it out. It's quite a situation there that I think you'd find very beneficial to your health. And we, of course, have a website that you all ought to be aware of. If you haven't written it down, write this down, purewavenow.com. purewavenow.com. And James and Tony, you guys are so informative and you got so much information. It's great. But this is something that people are beginning to understand and realizing that there's being a change in medicine that is really important for everybody. So what we want to do is try and help the community, bring their dogs, tell them about it.
Stop by the New Life Expo tomorrow or Sunday.
And stop by the New Life
Come
Expo.
by, see us, yeah.
Okay, that'll be great. And again, that's located in Boca?
Yes, at the Doubletree Hilton.
Okay, and tell us exactly.
Just look up New Life Expo, you'll see.
And New Life Expo.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
NU or NEW?
NEW.
NEW.
New Life Expo.
New Life Expo. And that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning.
10.
And you'll be there. So you can meet Tony and James personally there. I think you guys will really enjoy it. But again, we want to thank you for joining us at Tell Us Your Biz. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate it and hope that we can make this all come your way.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on AMP2TV, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an AMP2TV production. The opinions